Hello and welcome back. I'm Chan, the Tech Man, and this is Endzone, a world apart. This is a new game I've never played before, and I did not get the DLC. I want to play through first without the DLC, then add it. I really like the music, really good. Let's see what this does. Let's do that.
Humanity survived. Our ancestors have destroyed the world, and we had to pay the price. With over 100 years without sunlight, but we have prepared ourselves for our chance to make things right. They stole from us a life of happiness. Still, we will make the best of it. Even though Mother Earth is grim and tainted, we have managed to survive. And we will keep surviving.
That's pretty high quality. And smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. My website is chansmith.me. Share my stuff on your social networking. My website is also in the description of this video. And if you want to donate, go to my website. I'm Chan, the Tech Man. And let's get into it. Let's do a tutorial first. A longer itinerated tutorial that includes all important aspects of the game. Follow Arthur's instructions and obtain important clues and useful information to survive in the merciless world of Endzone, a world apart. I did want surviving the aftermath, but Paradox, their games have been really glitchy. So I decided to get this one, and it was on sale for a good price.
We finally left the Endzone. Just look at this beautiful scenery. It's marvelous. Even though it's a bit different from what we had pictured, we were able to secure a few basic resources and are storing them in our bus.
Let's build herself a new home.
I'm glad we prepared ourselves well for this kind of scenario, especially since our inventories in the Endzone ran low. Don't forget that if you need additional information, you can look at our survival guide at any time.
Okay. Open survival guide. Okay, that's pretty. With the help of tasks, freely available shelters are instructed to gather. Settlers are instructed to gather certain resources or remove radiation in certain areas. Tasks like these will only be performed by settlers who do not perform any function. Up to 4 settlers can work on one task at a time. The only exception to this task for removing radiation. The task of removing radiation will be carried out by any settler who currently has nothing to do, even by those settlers who have been assigned a profession. Gather wood. The settlers began gathering wood from trees located within the active work area. Settlers began by collecting scrap piles located within the active work area. However, they cannot collect any scrap from large ruins. To do this, you must assign a scrap collector. Gather plants. Okay. Berries, mushroom. Gather everything else. Oh, okay. That would probably be better. Remove radiation. Settlers to remove radiation by digging up the soil. Unlike other tasks, you don't need any freely available shelters. All shelters who have nothing to do, even those who have a workplace, will help dig. Okay. Cancel. Okay.
Well done. Everything you need to know should be right here. I think the time has come for us to at last build ourselves a new home here. Before we can construct buildings at all, we have to assign the profession builder to several settlers so that they can take care of construction contracts. In general, it's your responsibility to decide which tasks are important and how our settlers are supposed to be distributed to attend to them.
Okay, open the profession menu. Okay, right, 3 builders. Okay, I like this.
All right. Your builders will be ready as soon as construction contracts have been issued. It's time to start focusing on our key and most basic need, water. The first thing we ought to do is to establish a working water supply. So we'll move on to our first construction contract. Place and build a jetty by a lake in the vicinity of your town center.
Okay, the build menu, jetty. Let's do that. I think is a good. How do can you move any faster? Speed. Okay, you're out here. Duh. I like this.
Very good. The jetty was completed as planned. Now we have a place where we can collect water. There are other possibilities to gather water too, but the jetty is the simplest and most cost-effective method.
Okay.
We can obtain and store water from different sources, like a jetty, rain collector, or well in the cistern. The cistern should always be in close proximity to a water source, so that our water carriers don't have to walk too far.
My grandmother had a cistern. Got to do that. Build a cistern. How about right here? I don't want it. This is different than that cistern, no one she had. We didn't have a city water. When I was younger, had a well, which always ran out of water, and my grandmother had a cistern. Sign the settler. 3. This is pretty good. Okay, I dig it. Really nice quality. Runs better than the Paradox so far to soundness and glitching, so I guess this shows the calendar, weather.
Great. We have now installed a working water supply, and water is now transported from the jetty to our cistern. Consider hiring more water carriers if you don't have enough settlers available. You can never have enough water in storage. Now we should focus on food production. It's important to ensure the supply right from the start. A gatherer's cabin, a hunting lodge, or a fishing hut can directly remedy the situation. I suggest starting with a fishing hut, since we're already located near a lake.
Food, fishing hut. That'll be okay. They took down a tree, so I guess they're gathering wood. Okay. Need probably more water. If I was playing this not being a tutorial, I would have probably 2 or 3 of those.
Good work. We've now taken care of our basic supply via food and water. Make sure that you have enough food and water on hand at all times, especially if you want to upgrade your settlement. A population that grows too fast can quickly unbalance your food and water supply, bringing major difficulties for you if you don't watch out.
Yeah.
Crops are another excellent way of getting food because they constantly grow as long as the soil is moist enough. Each seed has different yields and growing times. This means that it could take some time until your field is ready to be harvested, in contrast to your fishing hut, where production can be right away.
Gotta do some fields. What's this? Right out. Oh. Well, I'm just gonna put that right here. Now, kind of choose the seed, choose seed. Guess I want this one as it's highlighted. No. Sure.
looks good. Remember that we need the widest variety of food sources to stay healthy. You should also plan ahead for drought periods that might come when it's not going to rain. Stock up on food and adapt your production to avoid bottlenecks. I'll show you a few more strategies later on. At the beginning, we don't have much scrap, wood, or other resources. We could build a production building, but to obtain resources as fast as possible, it's best that we start gathering right away. Assign a Gather All Resources task. All the settlers who haven't been assigned any profession by you are going to accept these kinds of tasks. In addition, settlers distribute resources within your settlement.
What that was. Gather. Okay. Do this here first. Gather scrap. None there. No, that's quick for wood.
Since we now own plenty of resources, we can start to build a real production building. Then you don't have to always make efforts by hand that collecting is taking place. Production buildings are not only easier to manage, they are also distinctly more effective than simple tasks. Don't place production buildings too far away from your settlement. You'll be able to change their working area at any time later on. Right on. The best thing for us to do now is to build a forester's lodge to automate our supply of wood and make it more effective at the same time. Foresters are not only able to chop down trees, they reforest areas with trees as well.
Let's see. No, I don't know if I like this view. How do I get off of that? It hasn't asked me to do so, so. How do I get off of this view? What the heck? Okay, duh. There we got some rain, so. they building it? Oh, that's pretty nice. Sign of profession. Oh, it's doing that.
Good job. You might want to change this building's working area later on to tell your workers where they should get their wood from. Ah, and for your information, if you want, you can also tell your Forester's Lodge that they only ought to attend to reforesting an area in order to create a lush, green forest which generations to come can use.
Okay.
Very good. Now we ought to take care of collecting scrap. Scrap is one of the most valuable resources because the quantities present are limited, and we can recover other resources from scrap. Unlike the task we just had, the scrap yard allows larger quantities of existing scrap to be dismantled than with ruins or wrecks.
Get a scrap yard, you can put it. Yes, sure. Okay, yeah, see, that's good. Good.
Great. You can change the working area for the scrapyard, too. We can recycle scrap into 4 additional resources: cloth, metal, plastic, and electronics. We'll do that shortly, but for now, we ought to take care of your settlers' needs first. Our people want a place to sleep and live. Cabins fulfill their need for safety and privacy, and increase the confidence of their inhabitants. In other words, building cabins increases their willingness to start families and reproduce, if you know what I mean.
Uh-oh, do I need to cancel those? Yeah, sure, that's okay. Nice little setup there. Let's see what, yeah, I would need another one, but you gotta do what the tutorial says.
Besides cabins, you can also provide sturdy houses and shelters as housing. Sturdy houses withstand sandstorms better and have an increased storage capacity to boot. Children living in houses gradually fill up the house's stockpiles. Settlers do not reproduce in a shelter because they lack privacy. Let's return from our excursion into housing and refocus on scrap. With the help of a recycler or refinery, scrap can be sorted into 4 different resources. A recycler always takes scrap apart, one resource at a time, while a refinery automatically produces all 4 resources. To start off, you should build a recycler and produce cloth.
Okay. I think that's where you can put, assume you can put a road through there. I don't know if I should go ahead and do this or not. There's a drought coming on. I thought it was a recycler. Maybe that's what it does. Same profession, maybe. For cloth. See, that's a good choice putting that farm there. And they're automatically harvesting it, so that's good. Just in time for the drought.
can instruct your
Okay, we
researcher
got
to
that.
produce a different resource at a time. It's important that you focus on the resources you really need, at least in the beginning. Cloth and metal look like good options if you want to equip us with protective clothing and tools.
Okay.
Happy settlers are industrious settlers. That's why we ought to look after our people and protect them against the surroundings and dangers, like radiation. So let's start by transforming our newly recovered cloth into protective clothing. A tailor will be able to help us with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what that was, but it looks like that'll be a good place. I don't know if it replanted or what. Thought there was some radiation there, but when I put it up there, the houses it showed it, but I'm trying to be careful when I put down things not to take down the trees. Scarf. I guess that'd go around your mouth and nose, I guess. Yeah, might need to move that area, but for now it's okay. Guess they're making two at once. This game is it's pretty good. I haven't seen any glitches. Uh-oh, I had a baby. I had a baby eats a boy. Or I had a baby eats a girl. You probably don't remember that commercial, but that's back in the payphone days.
We categorize environmental radiation into 4 levels: no radiation, low level, medium level, and high level radiation. The radiation changes constantly and is influenced by weather and contaminated rain. Protective clothing helps to protect us against this kind of radiation, but it takes a while before it's produced. And production relies on a steady flow of incoming resources. Try to establish production chains at an early stage and start to stockpile goods so that some are always on hand. The tools we brought along from the Endzone are slowly but surely running out. So now, let's focus on manufacturing new tools. The tools will help us to work effectively. We'll need metal for that, so we'll prepare for production by building another recycler, which we'll commission to recover metal from scrap. After that, we'll need a workshop to enable the manufacturing of brand new tools.
Okay, do another recycler here. Workshop. I just think it's right on the money there. I'm trying to keep that stuff away from the homes. Put this all in the same area. Go ahead and do that. Can't right now. Select to do metal. This is a recycler, not recyclers, so. Okay, I need to move that. Oh, well, oh. Don't take long for that drought to kick in, does it? What's wrong? No workers, okay. What's this? Okay. Yeah. They got me building too much stuff, so. Maybe if I do this. Oh, okay. I don't need the builder right now, so needs metal. I got plenty of metal. In stock, I got some. There we go. We got this. Put that right here. Don't need a builder right now, so turn this down. It appears it went through the drought. Okay. Are we still in the drought? I don't know. Either way, we're doing pretty good on it. Even though this is the tutorial. Just walking through the field. Making another one. There we go. It's raining. Made it through the drought. Still had some water left in the lake.
With our lovely new tools, we are now prepared to work effectively. Should you ever run out of metal, keep in mind that you can also instruct your workshop to manufacture tools from scrap instead of metal. Though they won't be quite as effective, it's still better than being forced to work with bare hands.
Yes, I agree.
Down in the Endzone, we had sufficient time and resources to educate ourselves properly. But our children don't have this luxury. We ought to build a school and pass on what we've learned. As a result, they will be able to survive and work better and more effectively.
I agree. Community. radiation there. I don't know why I showed it like that earlier, but yeah, ain't nothing I can do about that. Run out of people. Maybe just do one fisher and full storage. Well, running low. Okay, yeah. So it's almost full. Could bring down one less on that. Sure.
Perfect. Besides the fact that educated children work more effectively, we'll also teach them to be more careful with their protective clothing and tools. This, in turn, leads to them staying intact longer, and we conserve valuable resources. Now that our population is starting to grow, we ought to again turn our attention to the topic of food production. We are already accumulating fish and tilling our fields. A gatherer's cabin will now enable us to gather mushrooms and berries from the forest nearby.
Food, gatherer's cabin. Good place right there. Put one more on the fish again. Can you select? Select what to gather? Guess not.
Very good. As you can see, the gatherer's cabin is an effective possibility to get food quickly. But watch out. After a drought, it's going to take some time before the plants have regrown. As is the case with most buildings, here too, you can relocate the working area at any time. Although we are sufficiently supplied at the moment, our survival depends on diligent planning. If we can lay out a plan for an orchard, then we can start to plant fruit or nut trees that we can harvest after a few seasons.
Good idea. One.
The orchard has been laid out, and the trees are already beginning to grow. Similar to crops for farming, trees need some time until they are fully grown. But once they have grown, they can be harvested again and again until they have to be newly planted. Our gatherer's cabin gathers food from the surrounding forests. However, there are any number of other plants there which we can use as well. These plants can be gathered by an herbal hut. The herbs gathered there can be consumed by settlers to replenish their health.
I don't like that cut out, but it's still better than the better than Paradox games. I like the games, but it's just they're glitchy. Okay, I need a okay, then let's make a move it over here. Okay, production limit reached. That's okay. That's okay. We need some home, I guess. Homes.
Well done. We can equally utilize the gathered herbs to convert them into medicine later on. It might happen that an illness breaks out in our settlement from time to time and spreads among our settlers. That's why we always ought to have enough herbs on hand. Radiation is the main reason why the health status of our settlement can decrease. Although our settlers already use protective clothing to shield themselves against environmental radiation, it might occur that our sources of water become contaminated. We should start to filter our water to prevent this from happening. We will need a great deal of charcoal to accomplish this. The charcoal kiln will burn wood to produce charcoal.
Okay, good. Charcoal kiln. pretty soon it won't be. Okay, good. Gathering that. I might gather this too.
Great. We can use the charcoal in conjunction with a filtration system to purify our water. Unfortunately, our cistern is not able to do this. Only the water tower has the necessary equipment for this capability.
Okay, build it.
It would be a disgrace if we had to demolish our trusted cistern just to erect a water tower in its place. What we ought to do instead is upgrade the cistern itself. A water tower can store much more water and provides workplaces for a lot more water carriers than our old cistern.
Okay, let's see if we can do that. How can we do that? Upgrade. Yeah. That's a good thing. I like it. Let's do it. Another recycler. I think I demolished any trees. Refiner, put 3. Plastic, I guess I got to do plastic to finish that. And water carrier, need 5.
Our new water tower is up and ready for action. Good work. Filtering the water is an important next step because clean drinking water is a key mainstay of any stable society.
Oh yeah.
Let's begin with filtering our water. To save on charcoal, we ought to ensure that at least a little bit of water not contaminated by radiation is being stored in our water tower. Water gained from a well is never contaminated by radiation, so it suggests itself for that purpose. Then we can use the remaining charcoal to produce better protective clothing.
Okay, gotta do a well. Sure, right there. Wait, let's cancel that. Put it here. Activate. Tailor shop, where was it at? Tailor shop, okay. proficient well keeper. Boom. Efficiency, yes. Hey, doing really good. Need a storage.
Good work. We are continuously taking steps towards being better and better equipped to be able to survive in this hostile environment.
I agree.
Filtered water is a precious asset. And later on, we can even use it to irrigate our fields. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Not only our water can become a hazard for our settlers due to radiation, our food can too. We ought to erect a decontamination post to prevent settlers from eating meals that are contaminated with radiation.
Decontamination post. Where would that be? Kind of put this out. Put this here, get that tree.
Very good. The decontamination post is going to supply all buildings that stockpile food and are located in its working area in order to purify the food that has been affected by radiation.
Okay, stockpile. Well,
It's true. We should never forget that even when we optimally prepare and protect ourselves, we're still going to lose friends and members of our family time and again. We're going to mourn them, come what may. But if we're able to bury them in a cemetery, then we'll get over the pain and let them rest in peace.
yes, I agree. Community. Okay. Get that. Okay. Maybe move that list a little bit more.
Okay. The cemetery will help us to quickly get a hold on ourselves and focus on the tasks that lie ahead. It's not a pleasant thought, but that's the way things are. At the very least, we're pioneers, aren't we? Maybe we ought to distract ourselves to lighten up the mood. We can erect a number of buildings to increase confidence in our settlement, including, for example, a campfire or a pub. In this situation, however, our best option would probably be to upgrade our town center. Settlers can visit the new town center, and by doing so, increase their confidence for a while.
Okay, that's good. What do you think that is? Maybe it's this thing here. Okay, well, would it be upgrade this?
Very good. The new town center not only gives us more storage space, at the same time, it functions just like a campfire, too. Settlers can visit the new town center, and by doing so, increase their confidence for a while. Now that we have made efforts to ensure the spiritual well-being of our settlers, we ought to attend to their physical health as well. Our settlers can get sick from time to time. Settlers who have become infected with a disease can die from it if they're not treated. Settlers will go to a medical facility to have themselves treated and will be admitted there, provided that beds are still available.
Okay, medical facility. I guess put it here. Not cutting down any trees. medic. I need to put another one of those. Production limit. Need one more for scrap yard. Get this.
With
Oh,
this
yeah.
step, we have ensured the survival of the settlement for a while. Very good work. Since more and more children are being born these days, we should start to plan for the long term. While cabins are a good way to get settlers to start a family, they only provide limited space. This can quickly lead to people having to live on the street. Allow me to suggest to you that cabins be provided only in a very targeted manner in order to control the population growth of your settlement. Nothing is worse than not having enough resources to provide for everyone. We ought to build a shelter to be able to provide other inhabitants with a roof over their heads too.
Shelter, housing, shelter. Yeah, sure, it should be okay. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take out that. want to get this gone. Wait, over here, over here. Have the school and everything over here with the housing. I wanted to clear this. And they are finally. Wish I could have another storage. I don't understand what this is.
Very good. Remember that when children grow up, they're going to leave their parents' house and look around for a new place to live. It might happen that they don't find any home at all. We ought to build a shelter to be able to provide all inhabitants with a roof over their heads. I've already pointed out to you that it could become very dangerous if we were to run out of food at some point. Since a lot of people are going to be living in the new shelter, we ought to provide them with access to food in their vicinity. A hunting lodge can look for wildlife in the surrounding area to bring a little meat to the menu.
I agree. Ow, that's more efficient. Hunter, how many? One. Improve your infrastructure. What about community resources? See a storage. I can't do a warehouse. I'll just have to wait. Okay, good, that is gone. Keep that there for things are done really good. This is going to save here in a minute. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with this game. Trying to get through this tutorial in one session, one recording. It's going to be a little while. Just fast forward it.
The hunting lodge equally provides us directly with food, but it functions somewhat irregularly because it relies on wildlife in the surrounding area. Nevertheless, it can be indispensable during a drought, because even the deer and wild boar still roam around the forest. However, wild animals can not only be shot, they can be captured too. When a wild animal has been captured, it can be brought to a pasture and served there as livestock. In order to capture wild animals, you have to instruct your hunter to do this. You also ought to set up a pasture and assign a herder.
Okay. Capture. Build a pasture. Food, pasture, right here. Herder, one. Need a warehouse. And it won't let me. Okay, got to select.
Animals captured by a hunter are brought to a pasture where they are tended to and cared for by herders. Some animals produce resources such as milk or eggs. Other animals can only be slaughtered to eat. You ought to find out for yourself which type of animal brings you which benefit. On each pasture, you can choose which type of animal ought to be kept there. You must provide water for the animals you keep on your pasture. This enables them to survive and reproduce. When enough animals are fully grown, the herder will start to slaughter them. If you don't want animals to be slaughtered, you can also instruct the herder not to do so. Now your herders know how they ought to handle the animals. And now that you've already captured several animals, don't forget to instruct your hunters to hunt animals again in the future so that they can continue to gather and provide food. With our increased production, our stockpile is going to run out soon. The supply routes for our production buildings are getting longer and longer too. To tackle these problems, you ought to build a temporary storeroom and have roads laid out.
Finally. Where's the Rueds? Well, I had something in between there, but I guess I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna do that for now.
Good. Temporary storerooms increase your settlement's general storage capacity. Place them in a targeted manner in order to shorten the routes for goods between your production buildings. Roads are equally a great benefit because settlers moving on roads can go distinctly faster than on a normal supporting surface. To improve the whole thing even further, we can build a market to improve logistics at the settlement. Besides being an enormous stockpile for resources that is even able to store water, the market is responsible for distributing resources within your settlement. What's more, it also increases your settlers' confidence.
Market. Whoa. And I have to be here. Did I even build a road there, or did I? Hope I did that right.
Logisticians are able to amass resources from the whole settlement and bring them to the market. This improves the flow of your products and leads to your settlers having to walk shorter distances to fulfill their individual needs. The combination of these attributes makes the market the ideal building when you want to enlarge or even relocate your settlement. The larger your settlement gets, the farther some settlers have to travel to get to all of the food you produce. To make life a little easier for them, you can build a food station. Logisticians who work at the food station will collect food from your storage buildings and production facilities and bring it to the food station.
I think I still have that road. Need to do a food station. Should be right there. Should be okay. Yeah. And another.
With the new food station, your settlers are now able to supply themselves with food directly on site. If your settlement is supposed to grow even further, you can think about whether you want to provide additional food stations. Distributing food at your settlement is going to prove to be extremely practical. However, your settlers not only need food to survive, they need water too. To be able to distribute water in a targeted manner, you can build a water point.
Didn't say the data that, did it? Logistics.
Now that your settlers also have a water point available, they can supply themselves with water and food. Similar to how it's done at the food stations, this enables you to precisely control at which places your settlers are able to attend to their needs. Since we have our logistics under control, now we can concern ourselves with the weather and its challenges. We can build a weather station to enable us to make a forecast regarding upcoming weather and learn if potentially contaminated rain might be coming our way. It can also be used to prepare our crops and rainwater collectors we might have against contaminated rain by covering them.
Good thing I did move that down here, didn't it? I guess they decontaminate the ground when they do that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why that would be on there. Can I clear this out?
Very good. Now that we know what sort of weather awaits us and how we can protect ourselves against contaminated rain by covering our crops and rainwater collectors, we ought to attend to collecting the rain we want. Rain not only humidifies the soil, it can also be automatically collected via rainwater collectors to generate a steady flow of additional water. Since we've already built our weather station, we're able to decide what kind of circumstances would make us want to cover our rain collectors.
You're gonna do rain collector. Put it, let's see, here. I'm gonna need some more housing.
never forget that our settlers might get sick if we distribute water contaminated with radiation at our settlement, even if they're wearing protective clothing. We should make sure that the collected water is as purified as possible. We can have our crops covered to shield our seedlings against radiation. But once they've been covered, naturally they won't be irrigated with rain anymore. To rectify this problem, we can build an irrigation plant that is able to artificially regulate soil humidification. Place this building with care, because it is only going to irrigate the soil within its impact radius.
I guess it takes care of the soil as it goes. What irrigation? Sand irrigator. Boom.
Fabulous. As long as our irrigation plant is supplied with filtered water, it is able to neutralize a possible contamination of the soil due to radiation. But watch out. When water contaminated with radiation is fed into the system, this can lead to precisely the opposite. And the irrigation plant itself may possibly cause radioactive pollution of its surrounding area. Alongside contaminated rain, there are other environmental hazards, such as sandstorms or droughts. The soil dries out during a drought, and sandstorms sweep across the landscape from time to time. These sandstorms can damage your buildings and ultimately make them unfit for use. We ought to prepare for this and assign several more builders to enable potential damage to be repaired. You can decide which type of task your builders ought to give priority to at our town center. You can instruct them to merely repair buildings, to erect new buildings, or to do both at the same time. This enables you to react quickly in crisis situations. For instance, in the event of a sandstorm, you can quickly attend to having damaged buildings repaired. Now that we've taken care of all the necessary needs of our settlement, such as food, water, protective clothing, and tools, our next efforts ought to focus on increasing the settlement's overall productivity. A research station allows us to develop different technologies. One step in moving our settlement ahead is to make it possible for our refiners to acquire electronics from scrap. We should perform research on the appropriate technology to achieve this and instruct one of our refiners to produce electronics.
So I need to do a research station, which is big. Assign 3 researchers. Another recycler. Resources. Recycle. Refiner. This is quite long. Huh. Research electronics. That's got a production limit, so no, I don't have production. How do you take care of that? Got homeless. For now. Oh, no. Cancel that. I don't know how to take care of that. I think it was a decontamination thing, wasn't it? It was. We need another builder. Okay, now do electronics.
Very good. With this new research station and the ability to acquire electronics from scrap, we can provide our settlement with all the materials we need. The research station is very useful in enabling us to adapt ourselves to our surroundings by using the right technologies in any situation.
Hope this is done soon.
Down in the Endzone, we dealt with the concept of a solar collector. This solar collector is able to collect sunlight and convert it into electricity. We wanted to try out whether our idea works and build a solar collector.
Okay, now that took, well, no, this still needs to be built. due to empty work areas. Okay. Forester's Lodge? Oh. That's, I wish, yeah. How do you
The solar collector produces energy by capturing sunlight and feeding this energy into a grid. The solar collector also gives us all the relevant information we need to keep an eye on our settlement's power consumption. Each of your buildings automatically hook up to this power grid when you set up an electric power pole within the building's range. Buildings supplied with electricity work distinctly, more effectively, and produce faster.
I hope I'm doing this right. Okay. Open view for electricity. Go view for electricity. I need that one to work. First, let's get this over here. Assume I need more houses. No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't know what to do with this, but I have a decontaminator. Decontamination post. Six, that'll be good. Huh. I don't understand. Might have to do this later. Hopefully this will work.
Fantastic. I can only picture how our ancestors must have felt with their almost infinite supply of energy. However, you ought to constantly keep an eye on your power consumption to avoid outages. Logically, the solar collector is only able to produce energy during the daytime. It would be beneficial if we could also make electricity available at night so that our settlement remains effective. It's
get a battery. Put it down here. Get that off. Let's see. A lot of power lines, but yeah. see. Need coal.
That looks good. Some buildings are now connected to the power grid. Although a well-structured settlement that's hooked up to the power grid consumes a certain amount of resources, it is enormously effective. Oh, and just as an aside, you can have electric power poles put up on many surfaces, even on roads.
I figured that out.
With the settlement producing on a stable scale, we can now focus on exploring our surroundings. Though we heard a bunch of stories in the Endzone, now we can explore the ruins our ancestors left behind firsthand to find treasure and resources. Let's build an expedition station.
Okay, let's do that. I don't know where that would be at. First, I need this. And expedition station. This is going to be, well, I don't know. I don't know if we can continue on this tutorial or not. Don't know where to put this. Need scout. I need something for coal. Need another forester. Teacher probably wouldn't hurt. I need what is that for coal? Work. Need a. What was that for the camp?
Well done. Assign settlers to be scouts and prepare expedition rations. When you want to send off an expedition, you can decide the quantity of expedition rations with which to supply the expedition. As a result, you can control how long and how thoroughly it is able to explore a ruin. Let's send out a few scouts to find a ruin. The scout will visit the ruin you have designated and explore it. As a result, the scout will supply us with important information about the site that we should pay attention to when we start an expedition.
Okay, how do you send out a scout? That's first. What was the charcoal burner? Another one of those. And a forester to max that out. How do we send a scout? By clicking that? Yes, let's do that.
Our scout has returned and brought along a variety of useful information. Now that we know what we have to reckon with, we can put together a team in order to explore the ruin more precisely. Each ruin has its own challenges, secrets, and valuable resources. Choose settlers who fulfill the necessary prerequisites for the respective ruin, and give them enough expedition rations to take along.
Start an expedition.
Now that you've commissioned the expedition, it's now in preparation stage. Expedition rations and other necessary resources are being amassed. Afterwards, the settlers you selected will relinquish their old tasks, assemble, equip themselves, and subsequently set off together on their way. Get yourself ready to make tough decisions. Good news. Your expedition has finally reached its destination. Now it's all up to you. Contact them and listen to what they have to say to you. Make wise decisions and guide the settlers through the ruin with meticulous care.
Okay, there's nothing special, Chief. However, we send out some of us on expedition at least and can dismantle the material and transport them back to the settlement. Yes.
Well done. Your decisions during an expedition are decisive for its success. Try to be as well prepared as possible and make wise decisions because the consequences could be fatal. Now let's loot this place and get out of here. Take as many resources as your settlers can carry and bring them back to your settlement. Now that you know how you can help your settlers to manage in this environment so hostile to life, I'd like to show you how you can design your settlement in such a way so that your settlers are not only able to survive in it, they're actually glad to be here as well. Your settlers are eager to live in surroundings that please them. For instance, they'd rather not live next to a building that produces lots of noise or dirty grime. You can switch to the heat map of dwellings' attractiveness to be able to see just how attractive the dwellings in your settlement are. In this view, you see which cabins and shelters have been placed in attractive surroundings and which ones are in unattractive surroundings. If you want to make your settlers particularly happy, you should pay attention to providing them with attractive surroundings. To increase the attractiveness of a residential area, you can put up some decorations to beautify your settlement. Each decoration increases the attractiveness of the area where it has been placed. Maybe it's time for you to design your settlement a little more attractively to make your settlers happier. your settlers are really going to like the newly built decorations. This way, you can even manage to design a residential area attractively that's located near industrial buildings. And with sufficient time and energy, even create a settlement where all your settlers are glad to live in it.
Okay.
Although living in a pretty neighborhood isn't the only thing that interests your settlers, they want you to take care of their other needs as well. If you provide them with a forum, they'll make their wishes and requests known to you. You can find out what means a lot to them there.
Build a forum. I need to do another one of these. This has ended up being quite long. Working on that.
Excellent. Many of your settlers' requests are collected for you at the forum. You ought to check every now and then whether you might be willing to agree to one of those wishes. However, the forum is not only responsible for enabling your settlers to turn to you. At the forum, you can address them too. You can issue decrees and establish rules at the forum, stating how your settlers need to behave. This way, for example, you can ration food and water, or go so far as to prohibit your settlers from reproducing in the near future.
Activate birth control. Oh, I don't like doing that.
Many of the decrees are extremely helpful toward enabling the survival of your settlement, though you should watch out that you don't demand too much of your settlers. If you ask too much of them, it can lead to discontentment spreading throughout your settlement. That's why you always ought to use caution in deciding which decrees you want to impose.
Okay, just saying that they're going to do it.
Although such a thriving settlement like this one here not only has its advantages, it could be that the attention of prowling raiders is drawn to you, and you'll have to defend yourself against them. First of all, it's going to be important to set up your own defenses. An ammunition factory is going to be necessary to arm those settlers who will be defending your settlement in the future. It would be best if you also assigned several technicians right away who are supposed to work at the ammunition factory.
Technician. Go to ammunition factory. Defense ammunition factory. Okay. What? Sure. It's always got a problem. Need another shelter. Or two. Okay. Very good. It's left to you to decide whether you want to have your ammunition factory manufacture lethal or non-lethal ammunition. While lethal ammunition deals damage to the attacking raiders, non-lethal ammunition ensures that their morale sinks. If the raiders have lost, they'll flee.
No matter what type of ammunition you want to have manufactured, one thing can't be missing. Your ammunition factory requires some sulfur for production. Sulfur can be obtained in your mines. To do this, simply instruct your mines to mine sulfur in the future.
Gotta build a mine. Jeez. What can I do with the mine? Where do I have to put it at? I don't understand really where to put this at. Assume you'd put it on. requires a mountain. Park mountain. No, I got to do a power grid, maybe. I don't understand. This is really difficult. All miners do sulfur, and that's really hard to put that thing down. I wanted the decorations.
Very good, old friend. Now the production of ammunition can get going full steam ahead. To be able to give your settlement blanket protection against attackers, the next thing you want to do is to build several watchtowers and assign militia there.
Hopefully we're almost done here.
Fire at raiders from these watchtowers. It will be best if you place your towers in such a way that they don't stand too close to each other, so that your entire settlement can be protected whenever possible.
scrapyard. Okay. No watchtower is being built, is it? Get all this out and we can fast forward it. Sure, we got some homeless again. This needs... I don't know how you can get that out of there, but... I guess I got it taken care of.
Very good. These watchtowers form the center of your defense. At each watchtower, you can individually configure the type of ammunition the militia who have been assigned there are supposed to fire at the raiders. As you can see, the raider force is now on its way here. Pay attention to the direction they're coming from. You might have enough time to adapt your defense a bit. I'm going to keep my head down for the time being, until those scoundrels don't bother.
You've said my people are hopeless cases. We were once. I took in one and all. Together we are strong. Give us what we need, then no one will get hurt.
It looks as if they were the last raiders, and the settlement still stands.
Yeah.
Well, it did get a few scratches here and there, but nothing we couldn't recover from.
We'll rise again, over and over again, and that's a promise.
I don't know how to...
However, in many cases, the raiders won't be paying you a visit just like that. without any advance warning and a reason. Most of the time, they'll demand tribute from you beforehand. If you can pay this tribute, they'll leave you in peace. That is, at least for a certain period of time. This time, I want you to pay the tribute the raiders are demanding from you, so that we can focus on rebuilding here at the settlement.
Sure. Okay, we beat the attackers. Chief, we were able to gather up some gear they had with them. Okay.
Very good. By doing so, you bought us a little time to be able to prepare ourselves further. I think the time has come at last for me to bow out as mentor. I've taught you everything I know, and you've proven yourself by keeping us healthy and in good spirits. I may have taken care of heading our last days in the Endzone, but now all my faith lies with you. I believe that you are going to lead us to a glorious future.
Well, I did the tutorial. It's pretty good, so I'm just going to return to the main menu on this. And no achievements during further gameplay. So thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Get in the comment section. Be nice. My website is chansmith.me. Go there if you want to donate. Go there. I'm Chan the Tech Man.